So like
You'll never be able to get through any hardship.
one of the big things, like right now for me, like in this context, I should say, um, is I am always late to work every single day. I live 40 minutes away. I take back roads. As soon as I am leaving Beecher, there's 3 semi trucks in front of me, and there's 2 construction zones I have to go through.
Right.
So I started leaving a little bit earlier and stuff like that. Today, I overslept and I left by 20 minutes late. Texted the guy immediately. Hey, I'm gonna be late. It's 100% on me. My apologies. Usually that doesn't happen, but I've like the jobs that I've worked before. I've had a set schedule. Now it's whatever the fuck the decision is the day that the schedule is written. And like working 5 days in a row straight, I haven't done that since I was 16, because I've worked night jobs where I work 12 hours on, then I'm 12 hours off. Like I've had jobs like that. Like very rarely have I had to work a literal 9 to 5 every day. That literally hasn't happened to me since, actually, I think when I was 15. When I worked at an orthodontic office. Anyway, but like I got there and he's like, "Oh, you got to start." I was like, "Nope, 100% on me." I left 20 minutes late because I didn't hear my alarm go off. It's on me. And he just stopped in the middle of his like, "You got to get better at leaving on time," and just went back to what he was doing. So like I feel like that, because again, that is a relationship. My relationship with my boss, of is he gonna keep me employed because I'm late every day. Granted, I'm late by like, I have to be there at 9 and I get there at 9 and 15 seconds. Or 9:01. And he's like, you're on time, close to
Right.
But yeah, it's very much like relationship wise now. Like now I see it. Like I look back on the last 7.5, 8 years of my life, and I'm like, it was literally, well, you did that. Well, you did that. Well, you did that. Well, I'm doing this now. And it was never, what are we gonna do?
No, for sure.
And
that's definitely the biggest takeaway I have off
yeah,
of my
I will say 100% that I wasn't in that mindset. Like, and you have to be, especially
right, sure.
especially if you want a good relationship, you have to be.
Fact.
Because if you're not,
yep.
you are, well, what am I going to get out of today?
For sure.
And like, while that may work for a little bit, you are not going to be in a happy relationship, right? Like,
absolutely.
Like now, like my entire family is like, yeah, she fucking sucked, and I'm like, no, she was fine. And like now, again, I'm looking back on it, I'm like, wow, she really did fucking suck. And
no, I will say when I was going through this shit with Jess near the end of it, I got a lot of like fight back from my family who I thought should have been on my side, and I always felt like they were more on hers than mine. But then, like you said, like after it happened and like they're saying like, oh no, we realized like no, it was like the opposite to you. Like you realized after they had been saying, whereas they realized after I had been. And it was one of those things, like, you guys never listened to me from day one. Like, this has been something I've been preaching. Like, I've been screaming about.
Yeah.
And it was always like, oh, no, but she's this and she's that. Yeah, that's great that she's this and she's that. But at the end of the day, there's also the X, Y, and Z. And X, Y, and Z don't make up for this and that and those.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
They're paid. Actually, I just page because Jess's fucking name is almost nearly fucking vocabulary.
Yeah.
When things were ending with her, there was people that you and I both knew very personally
Yeah.
that stuff was happening and being said about and with.
Yeah.
And it was a situation that sucked because it was my fiance being pitted against my best friends.
Yeah.
It's like, why? I never expected in my life to have that. Like, any of my other girlfriends in the past had never, ever stepped into, like, your friends group or your
Yeah.
personal zone. And there was 2 people specifically with Jess that this happened with that I almost as much as I love those people, it's so hard for me not to fucking hate them
Oh yeah.
because of what she said. And there are people that, like, they mean a lot to maybe, well, one of them means a lot to you and I, and there's another one that has like a deep spot for us.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always gonna be, but it just, it kills me because, like, at the end of the day, I love those guys to death.
Yeah.
But there was things that was said or done between them that still to this day, and it shouldn't have any admiration. I shouldn't fight them for it, and I shouldn't have any hatred towards them for it.
But it's
for whatever reason,
it's
because
one of those,
know
it's one of those things that at the time it hurt you so deeply.
Yeah.
That's how you're still thinking about it now. Like, is probably the best way to say that. Is like, at the time you were like, dude, that guy, like, I would have killed for that guy, and he did this. Like, fuck you. But, like, even though now it has literally zero effect on you, you're still like, yeah, but fuck that guy for that one time.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, man, I 100% get that. I know that there are 16 people that if they saw me, they would probably kill me. Just because, again, when I was a little shit, granted I was never little, but when I was a shit, I did things that, like, now, like, hearing, like, thinking about them, like, when I'm laying in bed or when I'm talking to Kat, and she's like, what's going on? Like, what's going through your head right now? I was like, oh, it's just that I'm a terrible fucking person and I should burn in hell. Like, and, you know, with Krista, it was always like, ha, same. And with her, she's like, well, why? What did you do? And I remember saying the things that I've done to so many people, bragging about what I did. And when I'm embarrassed to tell her. I am embarrassed for what I used to be. And I'm just like, I don't want to talk about it, actually. She's like, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing the, you know, it's nothing. We're going to talk about what the issue is that you're having right now. Because it's one of those things, right, where it's like, you'll get in that mood, right, of like, God, I'm such a fucking piece of shit.
Oh yeah, I'm in that right now.
And that stays with you for days.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't go away. Like, it's tied to depression, I know that for sure. And it's tied to ADHD, but it's also one of those things of like you'll never forget about, like, some of the absolutely horrible things that you may or may not have done throughout your life, and it never goes away.
Oh yeah.
And I think about, like, oh man, but it was a good time though. And it's like, yeah, it was, but now think about the people that you affected during your good time. Yep. And like, because again, at the time you don't have that mindset of like, well, I'm still having a good time, so I don't care.
Yeah. No,
You
you're,
know,
you're
yeah.
not wrong on that at all.
It has been nice to grow up, but it's also like definitely hurt my mental health more because
Oh, for sure.
I
Yeah,
realize how
absolutely.
shitty of a person I used to be. Like, oh my god, I was such a piece of shit.
For
Sir,
sure.
can you die with your elemental resist? Thank you.
I get that for sure.
Yeah.
There's random. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get exactly what you're getting
Yep.
at, dude.
Like, again, like I feel like this is why you and I have always had this relationship, is because without even saying exactly what we're thinking, we know exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you and I have always had that of like, whether it's on the field of like, hey, you need to, and then you're already moving, and then you know, like, again, it's a very rare relationship, I think, for two people that didn't grow up together. Like Adam and I have it, but we literally grew up together.
Right. Right. You and I, was one of those things when we met. It was just this thing.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain. I only have one other buddy who I'm like that with.
Like,
and it sucks because I love him to death, but he is such a fucking terrible texter. So where like you say something and his response is just LOL, and it's like, bro,
oh,
I'm not gonna talk to you. Like,
my
I
so
don't want to
my
talk to you if you're gonna talk like that. Like, this
my
is boring.
my
Like,
least
but him and
favorite thing is K. I
yeah.
I will
Yeah.
snap your fucking femur in half if you text me a K.
For sure. No, it's terrible. So my buddy, his name's Alex. He played on Thunderstruck with me, the tournament team out of Sherwood that I was playing with.
Yeah.
And when Thunderstruck wasn't sure what we were doing, him and I went and tried out for Project Mayhem out of
Okay.
oh shit, what was that indoor field that closed through COVID? O'Hare. Was it O'Hare? St. Paul?
It was either where was it?
I mean, I just remember it was like this weird like back spot off the interstate. Like you dropped off the interstate and you like drove past a couple of other indoor sports complexes, and it was in the back.
Oh yeah, that was O'Hare. Yeah. That
Okay,
was O'Hare.
so O'Hare. So I was playing with Project Mayhem. Barga, Sean Barga. He was the coach of my team. I went and I tried out for Project Mayhem. Me and Alex made it, and there was a guy. His name was Ozzy. He called Alex and I Maverick and Goose. Because we'd play no matter what. If we played Dorito or Snakeside together, if Alex moved, I moved. Like it was like this weird thing we had. Like
Yeah,
he was moving, I was moving. Just like when I remember fucking the big game we played at fucking Blast Camp. You and I have the fucking picture where it was like you and I were if you moved, I moved. If you moved, I moved. And you and I were on the same inflatable bunkers over where their airfield's at now, the airball field's at now, and we were looking down, looking at the fucking rental house, like the actual like rental property to get air and everything, the big green barn.
Oh no!
And everyone was coming up through the woods, and you and I were sitting at that. It was a small temple, and it was snake beams, and you were in front of me. I was on your fucking dick, and it was like I guess, like you said, dude. Since day one, you and I have always had that thing. I get you.
Hell yeah.
Fuck.
Can't wait to get back into paintball. It's gonna be fun.
I hope so, man. I want to get back in so bad.
Yep.
I've been just there was a customer that I was at the other day who looked just like the owner's wife of Sherwood, and it was just like, fuck. I just miss not being there. Like even as a ref at Sherwood, being the head ref there, I've fell fucking flat on my face this year.
There is zero fucking chance that this game just gave me a mutator called Edgelord. There is no fucking way. Yep. Okay. What the fuck, bro? Sorry. You're like telling this story, and that just pops up on my screen. I'm like, there's zero fucking chance that just happened. There's no way that this game gave me something called Edgelord. That's ridiculous. Oh god. But yeah, like dude, I missed it for 3 fucking years, man. I never got to play, but Krista got to travel all over the place playing because other people would pay for her to play, and it's been what fucking decade since I've been relevant at all in paintball, so nobody gives a shit about me. And I'm like, all right, yeah,
I
sure.
basically lost everything I had too. I stopped playing.
Yep.
I got injured and stopped playing for a while, and then I went and picked up the ref spot at Sherwood. And when I started refing, I basically stopped playing.
Yep.
I lost
That's
everything. Like I would see all the people that I cared about while I was refing their big games and watching them have a great time.
yeah.
You know, and like I said, I fell flat on my face this year. I feel like I failed Joe and Kathy because I wasn't at a single big game this year. But I just, you know, life's changed. I work
Yeah.
for a small company that relies on me. So
Yeah.
unfortunately, like I haven't necessarily like openly said it to them, but it's like Sherwood does not pay my bills. Sherwood does not keep my roof over my head. Like
Yeah.
my
And
my
I'm
HVAC job does that.
sure they know that because they've like again they've been in the business long enough that they know like yeah, paintball's cool, paintball's awesome, but it doesn't pay for what people need.
For sure. I know for sure I want to get back on the field so bad. The last time I played was Indiana Super Game 2 years ago.
Damn.
And before I played before that, other than like, you know, Thunderstruck tournaments or whatever, um, at that point it was there. I mean, Parker had a birthday,
Yeah.
and we went to Sherwood, and Paige, Parker, and I played together, and that was probably 4 years ago at this point.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I just